What's up, YouTube? This is Ron323 Gaming here, making me another video. And in today's video, I will be doing this very special video. So, what made me get this idea was that I was watching my old Madden 12 videos, because I haven't watched my Madden 12 videos in a while. And while I was watching it, I just decided that, you know what, maybe I can make a top 10 games of season 1 of Madden, because I made 6 seasons and I did kind of told myself that after I was done with the series, I'd do like a couple of videos like this, you know what I'm saying? So we're here, man, and before I start, hope you like, hope you comment, and hope you subscribe to this channel. So let's get to this video, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Number 10 is going to be the Seattle Mariners versus the Los Angeles Bulls. So this game was a week 16 matchup. It was for the AFC West. And you might be saying, why is this game so low on your list? Now, personally, it was a fun game. It was a great game. It had a couple of highlights. I mean, it had a couple of stiff arms from the LA Bulls. It was a cool game, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Marquez Taylor did his thing. Olsen did his thing. The backup quarterback Darnell Willis did his thing. You know the vibes. But the reason why I got this at number 10 is because as good as it was never really close. Like, first, it was the Seattle Mariners taking like a 10-point lead. And then once the LA Bulls came back, they kind of took like a 10-point lead. And after the Bulls took a 10-point lead, the Seattle Mariners tried to come back. But it just didn't like happen like that. And the way the video is, it kind of ended kind of quickly. So you never get a chance to see like, I don't know, man, it just didn't. I don't know what to say, bro, but you never got to see, like, it could have been better, you know what I'm saying? The video itself could have been better, but yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was entertaining. I mean, you just see a couple of highlights there, you know, a couple of stiff arms from a bunch of LA Bulls players, you know what I'm saying? You saw that Russian TD from Olsen, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a rivalry game. So it gotta be up here. And plus, it was week 16. It was for the division. I mean, it is what it is. It could have been better, but you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be placed at number 10. So yeah, the 10 best game, in my personal opinion, is the Los Angeles Bulls versus the Seattle Mariners. So number 9, and just in my personal opinion, it's gonna be the first game of the Madden series. It's between the Orlando Bees versus the Colorado Rockies. Now, because it is the first game, it gotta be up in this list. It has to. Because listen, for the first game to go away it did, it was just amazing. It has to be dramatic, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the game itself was just so fucking fire. I mean, at first, both teams was kind of just evening out. And then the Orlando Bees kind of just took the lead. Like, they had like a, what lead they had? They had like a, what was their fucking lead? They had like a 20-7 lead. And so the Orlando Bees scored like 13 extra points. And then the game really got interesting when like Ron Justice was able to like carry the Rockies to 14 extra points. And like once the Rockies came back, it was like, damn, this game really got lit. And then the Orlando Bees, in that fucking drive that they had, that pass to Bannister, which is so fucking good. And then the field goal that ended off after the Orlando Bees gave up 14 unanswered points to, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that they didn't choke that game. It was just so fucking amazing, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a great game. I mean, it's the first game of the series. What did you expect? You know what I'm saying? It was a fire game. Now you might be saying, well, if it's such a fire game, how come it's only number 9? Well, the reason why it's number 9 is because the thing about it is, both these teams wouldn't do shit in the series. So the impact, it didn't really do much, to be honest with you. Now, granted, the views and all, I'm outside, it did alright, but I'm talking about like in the series, like the impact. It was the first game, but both of these teams didn't do much. I mean, the Orlando Bees and the Rockies, they had a rematch in the playoffs, which unfortunately I couldn't get because the video got corrupted. But yeah, man. But besides that, both of these teams didn't do shit. So when I look at this game, even though as great as it is, and it kind of do hit because it's the first game, outside of that, it's nothing really crazy for real. So I'm gonna have to put that at number 9. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue on. So number 8 on this list is gonna be the Orlando Bees versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Now this game right here, it was fire. It was amazing. Like, this game was just so good. Like, bro, let me tell you something about this game. This was the debut of one of my favorite players of the series. It was Gary Russell. And if you watch the series, you know about Gary Russell. You know about the 2-time MVP Gary Russell. And it's crazy because I haven't watched the game like in a minute. So when I watched it again, I forgot that this nigga Gary Russell really showed the fuck out. Like, this nigga threw for like 5 touchdowns in his debut of this series against Glenn Nelson and the Orlando Bees. And I ain't gonna lie, bro. These two teams just went back and forth. I mean, the Cardinals defense had about 2 interceptions. Gary Russell was doing his thing. The Orlando Bees was doing their thing. It was a back and forth game. And after the Orlando Bees scored a touchdown, you would think, oh damn, the Bees, they might have this one. They got the touchdown, this and that. But then all of a sudden, Gary Russell, he threw it to like what? He threw it to like Gordon or some shit. And he was able to get that last second touchdown to force this bitch into overtime. And this was the first game that was settled in overtime. Because in overtime, this nigga Glenn Nelson will go on to throw his 3rd interception. And then Gary Russell, being Gary Russell, had that epic overtime drive. And he was able to get the motherfucking touchdown to his man, Brown, to win the game in his debut. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. The reason why this game is only number 8 is because the other games are just simply better in my personal opinion. This game was fire. And let me further explain myself. The only reason why this game is at number 8, because after this game, the Orlando Bees will fall off. They wouldn't do shit after this game. As for the Cardinals, their stock went up. So it's like, if one team fall off and the other team does well, and this was supposed to be like a rivalry, it didn't really go nowhere. So when I look at this game, even though it's a great game, because how hard the Orlando Bees fallen, I gotta put at number 8. Even though this is the debut of Gary Russell, like, and it was the first overtime game and it was epic, I gotta deduct points out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I might be chatting, but that's just how I feel. But at the end of the day, though, the game itself was fire. Gary Russell was a legend. Glenn Nelson, threw for 3 picks. He was a bum. You know the vibes. Let's continue on. Number 7 is going to be the Washington Nationals versus the New York Lightning. Now, here's the thing. This is the first matchup because they played twice in season 1. In their first matchup, bro, this game was so fucking good. Like, this game was just fire. Because here's the thing. It had the stakes. Both of these two teams, like the Washington Nationals, they were like, what, 10-2? They were already going to clinch first seed. They were looking at home field advantage. But the New York Lightning, they were 6-6, and they needed this win more than the Washington Nationals. But the thing about it is, this is a rivalry game. You know the vibes. You know, even though the Nationals don't, even if they lose, they'll still be alright. At the end of the day, it's their op. Why would you let your op win? That doesn't make no sense. So both of these teams just went back and forth. You saw a missed kick. You saw some great ass touchdowns, and it just went down the fucking wire. Like, bro, it was a crazy ass game. And then at the end, when fucking Samuels went for the run and scored that touchdown, bro, and then and New York Lightning tried to do something, but they just couldn't. That was just so fucking epic. And it's crazy because they will play again in week 17. Spoiler alert, it's on this fucking list. And bruh, this game set the standard for their next game. And the only reason why, in my personal opinion, is that number 7. Alright, the only reason why is, I don't know. Cause listen, they played again and their second game was way better. And plus, there are some better games that are better than this game, but this game set the standard for their second rematch, which, spoiler alert, is top 5. Like, come on, gang. But yeah, this game right here, it's up there, man. It's up there. You know what I'm saying? They did battle this day. You know what I'm saying? The Washington Nationals got that 7-point win. That's what it is. Number 6. Alright, so number 6 is going to be the Baltimore Anchors versus the Houston Astros. Now, this game right here, this game, bro, both of these teams just did battle. Like, I'm telling you, these teams just did battle. And listen, here's the deal, right? Here's the deal. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to put in my top 5, but I just couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. It's just personal bias. But if you said this game was top 5, I would not be mad at you. Like, this game right here, it was just so lit. Cause see, Kevin Johnson, and this was a debut of Kevin Johnson, by the way. And he was going up against Mark Jackson and Houston Astros. Up until this point, we played with the Astros like 2 straight times. They destroyed the Bees. They beat the Convicts handily, and they were playing against the Baltimore Anchors. And yeah, both of these teams had the same record, but you would have thought, because how dominant the Astros were, the Anchors was just gonna get blown out too. But then once Kevin Johnson, the Anchors, they said, Astros, who? Mark Jackson, who? Bro, both of these teams, I'm telling you, they just went back and forth, scoring touchdown after touchdown. Yeah, you got a couple mixed kicks in there, but they just scored touchdown after touchdown. Kevin Johnson passing to Gable, he's doing this thing, and then Mark Jackson going crazy with those 2 double stiff arms. Like, this game just had it all. The drama, the intensity, the toxicity, it was all just there. And then once the Baltimore Anchors was up 34-31, like, and the Astros was down, and then Matt Shorts got hurt, and you had to rely on the backup quarterback. And the backup quarterback, whose last name was Curry, he cooked something up. And he threw a deep ball to my main nigga Carter, and he scored that touchdown. Scored the touchdown. And you knew once Carter scored that touchdown, the game was over. Kevin Johnson tried but couldn't do it, bruh. Like, and you know, like, me talking about this game, this deserved to be top 5. It deserves to be top 5, but I just can't put it because the other games just hit different. That's really it. It just hit different. So, yeah, Anchors, Astros, number 6, W game though. W game. Now we in the top 5. Now we're up there. Now the reason why I picked these 5 games in the top 5 was because these was my 5 personal favorite games of season 1. Alright, these was my personal 5 favorites. Alright, and the one game I'm going to talk about now, that's number 5, is the Chicago Eagles versus the Minnesota Bulldogs. Alright, this game right here, this game was just amazing. Now, before I continue on, this was the debut of Chris Carwise, the GOAT. And Bob Williams, but mainly just Chris Carwise. Because, bro, at first, it looked like the Chicago Eagles was just gonna blow out this team. I mean, by like the third quarter, it was like a 20-point lead. It was like 40 to like 21. You know what I'm saying? Or 41 to like 21. I don't really give a fuck. And it was like, bro, you thought, damn, the Eagles, they beat them by 20 points. No Chris Carwise. I mean, because around like the second quarter, he was starting to get hot, but like, can he really come back? And you see, I know the Anchors and the Astros, they went back and forth and it was just going crazy and it could be top 5. But the reason why I got this over the Astros and Anchors, because listen, personally, like, come on, Chris Carwise is my favorite player. You know I fuck with this man heavy. And when he started to make a comeback, the game just hit different. He was just throwing dimes after dimes, being smart with the WIQ. Like, bro, when Chris Carwise started to come back, it was just magical to see. And I remember when I played it for the first time in 2020, and I'm like, bro, this nigga really just built different. And I remember when he finally came back, it was like, damn, that nigga really did it. That nigga really got it. And it's like, the Chicago Eagles, man, they had a lead and they sold that shit. Like, the starting quarterback did get hurt, so they had a backup. But when you're up by 20 points, bro, and you let the Minnesota Bulldogs come back the way they did, it was just disgraceful, bro. But this game, bro, I mean, the comeback, which is something special, and because it was the debut of Chris Carwise and what Chris Carwise was going to do, this game is just, it makes it even more legendary, because after this game, the Bulldogs will go on to have even more success, and, you know, Carwise became a Hall of Famer. So, you know what I'm saying? So this comeback was kind of like a message that this nigga was gonna take over the league, because the fact that Chris Carwise did this in his debut of this Madden series was just insane. And so that's the reason why I got in my top 5. Personally, the Astros and the Anchors is probably a better game, but because of the legacy and being it's the debut of my main man's Carwise and him getting that comeback against his rival, it just hit different. Plus, these two teams were going to have a rematch, which the Eagles beat them in the divisional round, which y'all didn't see because of, you know, the video got corrupted. But it is what it is, bro. This game was an amazing game. It was a W game. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Got it. It's top 5 for a reason. Don't care. Chris Carwise to go. You know the vibes. Number 4. It's going to be the Los Angeles Bulls versus the New Jersey Bells. Now listen, if you're just going off of just a game and how the game just went, me personally, I think this is the best game of season 1. If not maybe number 2. This game was so fucking good. I mean, bro, like, I'm telling you, bro, the Bulls and the Bells, I don't know what they did that night, but they made fucking magic. Because, bro, both of these teams, they just went at it with each other. I mean, this game was so dramatic. You saw the meanest kick return of all time. You saw kickers missing extra points left to right. You saw Jared Schultz and Shaw get busy. You saw Fred Peterson going crazy in the last second. Like, this game just had it all. I mean, Fred Peterson fumbled the ball. Like, it was just so anticlimactic. Like, as the game went on, it just got better and better and better. And then we went to overtime. And in overtime, I think the Bells got the ball first, but they couldn't do nothing with it. And then Fred Peterson got the ball back, and you thought this nigga was about to do something with it, but then he go on to throw a fucking interception, and then, you know what I'm saying, like the Bells moving, and then all of a sudden, Schultz give it a Shaw, and he runs for the game-winning touchdown, and it was just so fucking fire. Like, this game just had it all. Like, the highlights, the toxicity, the music, the adrenaline. Like, this game was just so lit. Like this game was just like, it's really top 3 for real. It's really top 3 for real. And it's crazy because the Bells coming into this game, they need this win more than the LA Bulls, because at the time the Bulls was 7-2 and the Bells was like 5-4. So out of this win, they went on a winning streak and they'll go on to go to the AFC title game, which they lost. But at the end of the day, this game was just so fucking legendary, bro. Like, this game was just so hard. You know, after rewatching it again, like, man, I forgot how good this game was, man. You know what I'm saying? And listen, the only reason why it's not top 3 is because, you know, the other 3 games had more of a purpose and more like a legacy and more stakes than this game did. But I'm telling you, just off a game to game basis, period, just going off a match perspective, it's definitely like probably the best game of the season in my personal opinion. Just probably, because this game, bro, it was just too amazing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's continue on though. So, the number 3 best game of season 1 is the New York Lightning versus the Washington Nationals, part 2. Now here's the deal. Remember how I told you before that the first game was nothing more than just a build up to this game? This game right here, if you thought the last game had it all, this game had it all, gang. Like, bro, this game, first of all, it's a week 17 matchup. And it's between 2 ops. It's the Washington Nationals. They're 13-2. They already have home field advantage. Alright, they already had home field advantage. And it's in the New York Lightning. They're 8-7. Listen, all what's standing in their way for the playoffs is their ops, the Washington Nationals. If the Lightning beat the first seeded Nationals at their home turf, then they can fucking go to the playoffs 9-7. And listen, I'm not gonna lie, both of these teams, bro, they just did fucking battle. I mean, for God's sake, throughout the whole game. It's just like the LA Bulls versus the New York Lightning, but just with more stakes. You know, just with more stakes in the plate, man. Because both of these teams, it didn't matter that Washington National had home field advantage. The fact that they didn't want their ops in there, like, they went back and forth. It was like a 14-14 game. And then the Washington Nationals took like a 17-14 game by the end of the first half. And you know what made this game crazy? Dale Wiggins get hurt. So then Hood plays for the Nationals. And they continue on doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? I think by the time it was like the end of the third quarter, it was like 24-21 or it was like 28-24. But then what happened afterwards? Oh, Hood get hurt. After Hood gets hurt, then what happens next? Oh yeah, Washington Nationals, they take like a 31-28 lead. And then after that, the New York Lightning, they finally was able to get a drive going. And then they took a 35-31 lead. Like, both of these teams, like I said, were just going back and forth. And then in the last few minutes is what killed Lightning. First of all, they kicked the ball out of bounds. So the Washington Nationals start in their 4-yard line. And You might be saying, okay, 40-yard line, sorry. And you might be saying, oh, well, they got the third string quarterback. He ain't gonna do nothing special. He's driving these bitch ass niggas down the field. The Lightning ain't really doing nothing on defense. And then it's the play that killed the Lightning. The third stringer just dropping back, trying to find his man. All of a sudden, this bitch ass nigga McGuire is wide open. Threw the ball. Made the catch. By the time he made the catch, they already too late. You know what I'm saying? Like, the coverage was fucking exposed. The New York Lightning defense sold the bag. And after that touchdown, the Lightning couldn't do none. Leroy Gregg couldn't do none. I knew it was over. They knew it was over. Everybody else knew it was over, bruh. And it was like, bro, it's crazy because the Washington Nationals, they didn't have to win this game. They already had home field advantage. The fact that they kicked, listen, it's the fact that they didn't have to win and they still played the way they did, which is so inspirational. And the way that the game went, going back and forth like they did the first time, but even better, and being so anticlimactic at the end, had to be in my top 3. That's why it's over the LA Bulls versus the New Jersey Bells. The game just had more to it. It had a better story. These two teams already played. It is what it is. It would have been better if the New York Lightning had won. But even though the Washington Nationals won and they swept this team, it didn't matter. Top 3. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Let's continue on. Alright, so here's the deal, right? These next 2 games, it was kind of hard to decide which one would be like number 1, because my number 2 spot, I think, is better than the first one. But the first one, like, okay, so the reason why I got the number 1 spot at number 1 is because after rewatching that game, you know what I'm saying, how the way the game went in the ending, like, it just hit different compared to number 2. You know what I'm saying? And the number 2 spot is a playoff game. It's between the Chicago Eagles versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Now listen, here's the deal with this game. Here's the deal, right? Bruh, these 2 teams already played against each other in the regular season. You know what I'm saying? And their first game, it was a pretty solid game. It could have been top 10 because how the way the game ended and how Gary Russell just went crazy at the end. But the problem is, for most of the game, it was just kind of boring. And like, I'm not gonna lie to you, even though Gary Russell did somewhat came back, they didn't take the W. If Gary Russell and them had taken the W, I probably would have put this game in like number 8 or some shit like that. But, you know, because they didn't win, it's not in my top 10, just saying. But they did play against each other, and the Eagles won. And so when they played again against the playoffs, obviously the Cardinals wanted to get back, and you know what I'm saying, it had more stakes to it, you know what I'm saying. And listen, this game right here, amazing, fire. It lived up to the hype, you know what I'm saying. Javon Welty versus Gary Russell, they both of these niggas just did their thing. It was so fucking good. To both of these teams going back and forth, trading leads, to Boone being wide open for that wide open touchdown for the Eagles, to the Cardinals having a field goal, getting cheated by the refs and having to punt the ball, to Javon Welty having that crazy ass touchdown, and to Gary Russell having that good ass last minute or last second drive to send that bitch to overtime. It just had it all. And then we go to overtime, and the running back just go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Well, he kind of just had one big run. And then it was the field goal. the 51-yard field goal, I believe. And the way, like, it slow-moed while he was kicking the ball. And then once he made it, you looked at the crowd, and the crowd was so pissed because, bro, they lost to their ops again. It just had it all. It just had it all. And I was going to put this at number one because, see, compared to number one, this game was better because, like, both of these teams, it wasn't no double-digit game. Both of these teams just went back and forth, trading leads and shit. Controversial shit happening. Crazy stuff happening. It's just, the only reason why the first one is number one is because, I don't know, we're going to talk about it right now. But this game right here is incredible. It's amazing. Alright? And plus, because it is a playoff game, it holds a lot of weight. And because both of the teams already played against each other, and their second game was way better than their first one, it gotta be number two, man. It gotta be number two. So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Number two, it is what it is. Listen. Let me tell you why I put this game at number one. At first, I was gonna put at number two or number three. And it's crazy. I was gonna do it. But then after watching the video and seeing how the game went and the ending when the Astros won that Super Bowl and the music that played behind it, like, I'm sorry, it has to be number one. This game was just so good. It was just so good. The first Super Bowl of the Madden series, it was just so good. Like, bro, it was between the top seeded Washington Nationals 14-2 and the Houston Astros 12-4. You see, coming into this game, the Astros was disrespected. My nigga Mark Jackson didn't get no Pro Bowl. So you know what my nigga Mark Jackson said? He said, fuck you NFL. I'm gonna show you I should have been a Pro Bowler. Against the LA Bulls in divisional round, 100 yards. Against the New Jersey Bells, 100 yards. And I think in those two games, he had I think in the conference title, he had 3 touchdowns. Divisional, I think he had 1 or 2 touchdowns. So coming into this game, Mark Jackson, I think he had a total of 5 or 4 total touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns, of course. And bro, let me tell you something. This nigga Mark Jackson carried this team to the Super Bowl. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. He carried this team to the Super Bowl. He had damn near 200 rushing yards. Damn near 200 rushing yards. 2 rushing TDs. Come on now, this nigga was just a fucking menace to society. Having big runs. And don't get it twisted, Matt Shorts and the Astros offense did their thing. The defense definitely did their thing. Well, yeah, they kind of sold, but they were doing their thing at one point. And so the Astros, they were good. The whole team was good. And the Washington Nationals, I mean, like I said, coming into this game 14-2, they had Dale Wiggins, AJ Brooks, Anthony Palmer, Phil Samuels, McGuire. They had everybody on offense. And the game itself, it started out kind of even. It was 14-14. It was even. And then the Astros, they took the lead. And then what kind of changed the game was when they couldn't convert on a 3rd down and goal and had to take the field goal, and because they thought the defense was going to stop them. And then all of a sudden, Mark Jackson was able to score another touchdown, and it was 28-17. And then after it being at 28-17, Dale Wiggins said, fuck that. I ain't gonna allow that. So you know what he does? He goes crazy. First drive, doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Passes to Brooks for the first touchdown. But they still need a 2-point conversion. They get that 2-point conversion. And then after getting the ball back, It's 28-25. All they need is a field goal. But they said, fuck a field goal. They're going to go for a touchdown. But it didn't look like that, though. Because, you see, the Astros, they were playing nice defense. They sacked Dale Wiggins. And it was 4th down. And then Dale Wiggins, he made the pass to Carl Wise. That nice pass and a nice catch. And so the game continued on. And then Dale Wiggins, he threw a deep ball to try to seal the deal. But he didn't get that bitch. But because the defense sold, they gave the Washington Nationals another chance. Kick another field goal, 28-28. So now it's overtime, right? Astros get the ball. And this is when Mark Jackson cemented his legacy. This is when he became like, because, bro, he was already dominated. What do you think they did in overtime? They just fed the ball to my nigga Mark Jackson. The Nationals couldn't stop that nigga. He was just running all over that team. Gave them into good field goal position. You know, got ready to kick a field goal. They kicked that field goal, made that bitch, and they won the Super Bowl in season 1 of Madden 2012. And then seeing the Astros and Mark Jackson win their Super Bowl and the music playing in the back, it was so emotional. And then seeing the ending when it said congratulations to the Astros for winning that Super Bowl, it was just so emotional because it brought me back to when it was 2020 and I was trying to take YouTube seriously and how much fun I had at making videos. You know what I'm saying? That video right there was just so, like, it was so good, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. And it's like, you know, it's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? After watching that game, like, I don't know, man. Like, it just brings me back to so much nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? Because I know after this, our channel's about to go up. And the reason why I say it brings you back to so much nostalgia, because at the time, we was at 300 subscribers. We were still kind of small. You know what I'm saying? Our channel was about to hit 400. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I was kind of happy at the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn. Now, since it's 2022 and my channel has finally hit 1,000, I somewhat kind of regained that happiness because now I got hope again. And so watching that video again and seeing where I'm at now, even though I'm still down bad, I ain't really done shit. I just had to put that game at number 1. It was an emotional game. It just hit different compared to the other games of season 1. Like, yeah, the Bulls and the Bells was goated. It was great. The Anchors and Astros was great. But this Super Bowl, it just hit different. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it just hit different, bro. And so, that's going to do it for this video. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This was a video I just came up with after doing like the top Super Bowls of Madden 12. I thought I was going to do another Madden 12 video, but here I am making another Madden 12 nostalgia video. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully y'all like this one. Hopefully y'all like this one, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do the same for season 2. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I get time, or maybe I might do that shit in 2023, because the only videos I got left is the 1,000 subscribers special, and I want to do a 2022 year recap because I ain't gonna lie, 2022 was crazy, but we'll talk about that when the time comes. Alright, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe. See you later. Bye.